My next speakers, I love these guys. Jordan is a local celebrity, Jordan Hill, and Mike Hill. Where's Mike at? He wasn't here last year. What's up, buddy? Thank you for being here. Jordan Hill, Jesse Peone. Jordan's bio is this: wife to Mike Hill. Runs a business of 4, their household of children. I love that. Licensed 6 years. She's Icon 3 of those years. That's half of her real estate career. She's reached Icon level, which is over 30 plus transactions, right? Pretty amazing. Team leader of the Hilltop Property Group. They do amazing things with social media. She's a triathlete. I didn't know that. That's pretty badass. And Jesse, real estate team leader and owner of the Salem Business Journal. Social media, all those things. So you guys are going to get a lot out of the speakers. Thank you for coming. Come on. Woo!
All right. At one point in my life, I was a teenager sleeping in an elevator in Portland. This elevator, matter of fact, my clothes were dirty, my hair was a hot mess, my hands were red from the cold, and I remember seeing my breath in the air as I would breathe or speak. At this point in my life, I wasn't in a good place. I was stuck in this elevator, not just physically, but mentally as well. There was a story that I told myself, all this noise about who I was and what I could be. I believed that the situation that I was in reflected who I am as a person. I believed that I was worthless, that I didn't have any value, that my future was a direct reflection of the situation that I was in at the time. Every single day at the end of the day, these men in suits would come up going home from work to get in their cars, and I'd be huddled in the corner of this elevator right here. Women would come up to go home from work, or families would go out to dinner, and of course they'd avoid any eye contact or interaction at all cost. And I remember sitting there, and I would look at them, and I'd make up stories in my head about where they're going to go. Do they have a wife or kids at home? What kind of car do they drive? What were they going to go do that night? And one day, I just, thought to myself, what's the difference between them and me? What would a world look like if I was the guy in the suit going up the elevator? What if I could do that? So that night, I prayed to a God that I didn't believe in yet, that, if he helped me get the wisdom and the knowledge to get out of here, that I would do my best to make it, and I would come back and help kids who grew up like me. Yeah. So I got out, Thank you. I applied for job after job. I went to every single retail store, every single office, and I would fill out applications. I'd talk to as many managers as I could. I had no idea what I was doing. And I got denied, and I was so frustrated. I was like, if they only knew what I was capable of, if they could see who I was, then maybe they would give me a chance and I could make something of myself. Eventually, there was a retail store in the mall who gave me a chance. Low-key, I think they just needed workers. I smelled bad and wasn't dressed very good, but they hired me. So I was selling sunglasses in the middle of the mall. And eventually, I saved up $30 a month. I got myself a membership to 24-Hour Fitness. And that was the cheapest rent I have ever paid. I would sleep in the bathroom stall. What are you going to do? Tell me I'm not going, And eventually I saved up, got myself a real apartment, moved back to Salem, decided I should probably finish high school. And, finished school, somehow got into college, ran for office so that way I could help kids who grew up like me, served, started getting into real estate, and bought a media company. So I'm in a much different place in my life now than I was sleeping in there. And I tell you this, not to feel bad for me or be like, oh, that really sucks, but to ask you, are there times when you're stuck in this elevator? There are times when I am, when I'm focused and I have this problem in front of me, or if I'm in a room of all these excellent speakers, and I'm sitting there and sometimes I'll put myself back in that spot that I was in. So I want you to ask yourself, in your business or in your life, are you stuck in a box?
Yeah. Are we stuck in our own elevator?
Is your business or is your life where you want it to be?
So how do we know if we're stuck in an elevator? Sometimes we don't even recognize it. So some questions that we can ask to self-reflect are, am I hitting my goals?
Has my production plateaued?
Do I feel alone?
Do I feel like I am in control of my business?
Am I growing personally and professionally every day?
And if your answer is no to any of these, then in one way or another, you may be stuck in an elevator.
Whether we like it or not, there is noise going on every day. Sometimes it's external noise telling us things about ourselves. Maybe it's family that doubts you, or generational chains or trauma. And sometimes it's internal, perfectionism. Sometimes we're people pleasers. What noise is keeping us in our elevators?
So what I want you to do is take a minute, you all have paper and pen, write down what were your goals for this year? What were your 2025 goals? Take a second and write those down.
John was talking earlier about writing down your goals, so if you don't have anything to write down, remember that. And next, under that, if you did have something to write down, where are you at so far? Are you tracking to hit those goals? Oh, woo! All right. Yeah, go you. Yeah, so some of us are, and yes, I mean, that's amazing.
Yep.
Some of us to know we have a ways to go, or maybe we don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, the fact is most agents aren't hitting their goals. Most people can't cut through the noise because they got a lot going on in their head or the things happening in their life, and the data actually backs this up.
Yeah, and sometimes we tell ourselves, and I have done this too, is maybe it's just this market, we say. Maybe there's just not enough out there. It's been a rough last 18 months. But I'm going to use WVMLS as an example. So I know the speakers have flown in. We're so lucky. But most of us attending are members of the Willamette Valley MLS. It's around here. It's not the biggest one in Oregon, but just in the Willamette Valley MLS, 2025 year to date, so January 1st through today, there's been over $2 billion of real estate sold. So there's plenty getting sold out there. And the top 18.3% of agents in this MLS sold 90%.
That's 20%.
Of that $2 billion.
Yeah, that's 20% agents selling 90% of that total volume. That's crazy.
Yeah, so it's out there. But the other thing that's important to know is that over half of the agents in this MLS have not sold a single home yet in 2025. So I know that there are some agents in here that fall into that category, but if you are, you're in the right place today. So is the problem truly the market, or we need to think, is it maybe us?
So Jordan, what I hear you say is, should we just give up, pack our bags and go home?
Wrong.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, kick him off the stage. No, absolutely not. We should use this as motivation. High achievers are always looking for fuel, and so let's use this as fuel to figure out what if we are in a box and are we actually using our max potential. And sometimes the noise is a pattern, which can be tricky because it's been something that has been going on for so long again and again and again that it's our normal. But that also keeps us in our box, in our elevator. And a quote that I read recently, your patterns will keep repeating until you learn the lesson they came to teach you. And so if you're tired of those patterns, and it's time to break out of that. And so I'll share with you, the fact that for the first couple decades, 3 decades of my life, was very much in a pattern. I was believing the noise that when I was young, I believed that I wasn't intelligent. Oh, you're not good at math, you're flunking your classes. And I internalized that and just figured I'll never have a career. I just didn't believe in myself. I was working dead-end jobs for literally 15 years. And it was food service, it was, retail, it was barely over minimum wage, and I just settled for that. I thought that's all I was worth. And one day, I applied for this job, and it was before COVID, so remote work was just not as common. And I thought I would try it anyways. I thought it was kind of maybe not even a real job, but I applied for this cloud-based brokerage, and there were only 10,000 agents nationwide at the time.
What was the name of this brokerage, Jordan?
Oh, thank you for asking, Jesse.
Yeah.
It was called eXp Realty, if anyone's heard of it. Yes, and so 2018 started working, and that company, working as corporate staff, absolutely changed my life, because for the first time I was working with leadership and with people that valued me. I'd never had that before, I'm not kidding. Valued me as staff and believed in me, and they gave me projects to work on, allowing me to mess up and grow from it. And in fact, towards the fourth year, I worked for corporate for 4 years. And towards the end of that, I was actually applying to be an executive assistant for the VP of growth at the time. A few of you that have been with the company a while will remember Chris Bear. And I remember he was looking at me through the screen, but looking at me, and he said, "Jordan, I want to make you a better leader than I've ever been." And like that, I'll never forget that. And right then and there, I realized that I had been putting limits on myself, but he looked at me and he didn't see that. He knew I was capable of so much more. And that is us here in this room. And if you're here, you're around people and in proximity of people that believe that you are absolutely capable of doing anything, and you are. So something that worked for me, as now that I realize I'm in this pattern, I'm in this limited space, and this noise is so loud, I'll just share a strategy that worked really well for me. And some of you have probably done it or heard of it, but don't knock it till you try it, because it's very powerful. So what I did is I recognized the loudest noise. And I had plenty of it, but the main one at that time is that I was so timid and shy. I couldn't even stand up for myself or people I loved. And so what I did is I picked the word bold, because it was the complete opposite, and I wrote that word down everywhere. It was at the top of my daily planner, it was everywhere, and every day I made a choice to make myself just a little more bold. And so that looked like walking into rooms with people that were very intimidating and being the dumbest one in the room and asking what I thought maybe were stupid questions, and a lot of times, I did get laughed at, or my messages got left on read, but I stopped caring about that, because I got to meet those like Jesse, who owns Salem Business Journal, and he asked me to host a business podcast for him and his media company.
It's a good podcast.
Oh, thank you. Well, thank you. And
It's a great host.
it's like, yeah, thank you.
Best host I've ever seen.
And I had realized I shouldn't even limit myself to just learning from real estate professionals. That's also limiting. I should be out meeting people of all industries and letting them pour into me, and I can pour back into them. And so I just started making those choices, and the next year it was growth. So that was the next year, 2023, I started actually telling the truth there to the therapist that I'd been seeing and kind of lying to and hiding things from. And I received a mental health diagnosis, and I was able to start medication and start the really, really hard work. That was really hard work. Half the year I felt like I was going backwards. But when I grew massively from that, the whole point of telling you guys this is it's going to affect your business so greatly. And Mike and I iconed that year. I mean, it showed up in our production. And the last 2 years, this year and last year, is the word discipline. And it'll probably be my word for next year, because it's very hard. But I encourage you all to write another thing down. Write down the word that is the biggest noise in your life right now. Those are things like perfectionism. Are you afraid to take action because you're afraid of messing up? You don't know enough. It's not going to be perfect.
Or do you doubt yourself and feel like you're not enough?
Are you timid? You're afraid to ask questions of those you look up to. And then the next thing, after you've identified that, because it's important we all identify that, and doesn't matter how long you've been licensed or your age or what stage you are, we all have something. And so next, cross it out and write one word that's going to cut through the noise. So what is the opposite of that word? What will combat it? And pro tip, and not really that pro because everybody here uses ChatGPT now, if you need a little inspiration, you're not sure what to put, type in there, I'm having trouble staying consistent in my business. Give me a word to focus on that I can put everywhere for the rest of 2025. And it absolutely will. And put that word everywhere, because that is what, focusing on that is what's going to get you out of the elevator this year.
So now you should have all written down one word that you're going to be focusing on over the next 6 months, 12 months, this next chapter of your life. That word that Jordan gave you is going to be your North Star, using that to get to where you want to go. But if your life is a ship and that's your North Star, you got to figure out, how do we navigate these waves along the way? And the most effective approach that I found, getting from the elevator to where I am now and what I'm using now to get to where I want to be, is doing one thing in a very big way, something that's not big at all. It's doing the little things, these little tiny disciplines throughout your life, some in your business and some just in a regular life, that things that you can control that could build up good habits and create you into a disciplined person. These are things such as, do I wake up at the same time every day? Do I make my bed when I wake up? We've all read that. Well, a lot of us have read that book. Am I eating healthy? Am I going to the gym? Am I doing these little tiny things throughout my life that make it so that way when life happens and when things come at us, that it doesn't rock the ship? In your business, right? A great example of this is your listing appointments. You can't control if this potential client is going to choose you. But what you can control is, did I show up on time? Did I bring a listing presentation? Did I do a CMA? Do I understand the CMA? Have I practiced this listing presentation enough so that way when a client throws a curveball at you, you can catch that and continue on with your presentation as if nothing happened? There's all these little tiny things that you can control that can make it so that when something big happens, it doesn't rock the ship. However, it's also a work in progress. Even me, right? I pride myself on being good at doing the little things, about being disciplined. I recently just lost a client over that exact same thing. Right? Something happened, I lost the client. It would be so easy for me to be like, oh, it was the world, it was because of this, it was because of that, and shift all the blame to everybody else but myself. But instead what I did is I took a little time to self-reflect, and I thought about what little things could I have done differently. And I realized, there's things such as like, did you show up on time? Did you miss an email? Did you say you were going to do something and you didn't do it? Right? Because if you do those little things, then this big thing can likely be forgiven. And so what I challenge you to do is write down 1 to 2 little things that you can do, that you can implement tonight or tomorrow, easily achievable things that can help you get to that one word that Jordan gave you.
Yep. Write those down. Make sure that they're things that move you forward towards that word that you wrote down earlier. And honestly, we're all learning great strategies here today. And you can be the best at scripts. You can be the best at social media. You can have all of these things down, but if we haven't identified and haven't cut through the noise and gotten ourselves out of that elevator, then it's all for nothing.
So focus on your one word, a couple disciplines, and that's something to build on. So thank you guys so much for participating. Appreciate it.
Yeah, let's lock in.
Time to lock in.